Now that area we can talk about as excellent service. Oh, but hold on a second, you may say. Isn't the product part of the service? Yes, it is. Isn't the delivery also part of the service? Well, yes, it is. But what we're talking about here is a particular dimension of service. And this we call an excellent service, M-I-N-D-S-E-T, excellent service. And this is a way of thinking, a way of responding, an instinctive way of showing up in a situation with a customer. And this one is much more difficult to copy. You know, you can't go out and say, excuse me, I'd like to buy 25 kilograms of excellent service mindset. It doesn't work that way. Not available by the pound or the kilo. This one's different. Let me tell you a story to illustrate just how different it is. I'm going to take you into an industry that's very competitive and very global. Let's look at the banking industry. In the banking industry, there is one bank that everyone recognizes right away. They say, yeah, that bank really is known for its service. I'm talking about Citibank. Now, Citibank has a policy where if you are a Visa card or a MasterCard holder, you can call from anywhere in the world toll-free back to your home country, in this case, let's say Singapore, to ask for any assistance or report any problem you may be having. Well, this story was told to me by the director of the Citi Phone Center in Singapore. It had to do with a gentleman named Mr. Tan, who found himself at London Heathrow Airport, and his flight from Heathrow Airport in London back to Singapore had been delayed by 4 hours. It was 2:30 in the morning in Singapore. He's back in London. He picked up the phone and he called the 24-hour toll-free hotline where he could reverse the charges and Citibank would pay for the call. Here in Singapore at 2:30 in the morning was one of the operators with a telephone headset. She answered the phone and said, "Good morning, Citibank, can I help you?" Mr. Tan said, "Hi, I'm stuck in London Heathrow Airport and, well, I need your help." The woman cheered up and said, "Well, certainly, sir. Do you need an extension on your credit limit?" Now, isn't that a normal question to ask for somebody who's stuck in an airport overseas? Except that he said, "No, that's not why I'm calling." She said, "Well, sir, would you like to know what your credit balance is?" He said, "No, that's not why I'm calling either." And so she said, "Sir, what can I do to help you tonight?" Mr. Tan replied, "Well, let's see, it's probably pretty early in the morning in Singapore, isn't it?" And the woman said, "Well, yeah, it's 2:30 in the morning, sir." He said, "That's what I thought. You see, my flight has been delayed by 4 hours. And, well, I don't really want to have to call my wife now and wake her up at 2:30 in the morning just to tell her that my flight's going to be delayed and she should go back to sleep." Of course, the woman at the Citi Phone Center would say, "Well, yes, sir, but how can I help you?" Mr. Tan said, "Well, I wonder if you could do me a favor. Tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, I'm going to be up in the air. My flight will have taken off. Could you call my wife and tell her that my flight was delayed and don't come to the airport at the usual time, but instead to come a little later so she doesn't have to wait for me?" And the woman at the Citi Phone Center said, "Well, just one moment, Mr. Tan, I'll check." She said, "We have your home phone number listed as," and she read it off, and Mr. Tan said, yeah, that's my home number." And she said, "And your wife's name is?" And he said, yep, that's my wife." And the Citi Phone Center operator said, "Mr. Tan, don't you worry about a thing. Tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, I'll make sure that we call your wife. You just have a good and safe flight home." And Mr. Tan said, "Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that." Click. And the woman said, "You're welcome, sir." Click. And they hung up. Now, 4 hours later, Mr. Tan's flight took off and he was up in the air. And at 8 o'clock in the morning, the woman from Citibank called Mr. Tan's wife. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. Of course, Mrs. Tan was fast asleep because her husband was out of town. She was sleeping late. So she answered the phone a little bit sleepy. "Good morning." And the bright, cheery voice from Citibank said, "Good morning, Mrs. Tan. This is Citibank calling." She said, "Huh? What time is it?" "It's 8 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing calling me at 8 o'clock in the morning?" And the woman from Citibank said, "Well, Mrs. Tan, we're calling on behalf of your husband." "What? My husband? Why? What's the matter?" No. Rest assured. Nothing's the matter. It's just that last night," and she proceeded to explain the story. She said, "Your husband called. He didn't want to wake you up. It was 2:30 in the morning, so we're calling to tell you that he was just going to be a little bit late. Call the airline before you go to the airport so you don't have to wait." And Mrs. Tan looked at the clock again and said, looked at the phone, "Are you sure this is Citibank calling?" "Yes, ma'am, Citibank." "Okay, Thank you very much. Click, click, and they hung up the phone. Now the time went by. Mr. Tan's flight arrives. He gets off the plane, he goes through immigration, he picks up his bags, he walks through customs, the glass doors open, boom, there's his beautiful wife. She didn't have to wait 1 extra minute. And as they're walking together back to the parking lot, how do you think they feel about Citibank? Well, pretty good, right? Now let me ask you a question. What has that phone call got to do with banking? Not much, you say. But let me ask you another question. Do you think that they will keep their account at Citibank? Do you think if they need more banking services that they will continue to do their banking at Citibank? Do you think that when a friend moves into town and needs a banking relationship that they would recommend Citibank? Of course they will. Now I ask you again, what does that telephone call have to do with banking? Everything. It's an example of how a company in a very competitive market stays ahead. Let's face it, Citibank's products, similar to other banks. Citibank's delivery, similar to other banks. They have branches, telephone banking, automated teller machine, so do the other banks. But Citibank demonstrates a level of service mindset that helps them stay ahead and stand out from the others. So this is the key question for you and your organization. What are you doing to stay excellent in terms of your product, excellent in your delivery systems, and excellent in your service mindset?